But I started producing in 96, and I just started just grinding, making my way. Now we're talking about the music, because the hair and the music go hand in hand.
Right. That's
for someone that doesn't know Mr. Skip.
Mm-hmm.
Let them know who you are.
I'm a barber, hairstylist, music producer, artist, podcaster,
writer,
all that, songwriter, all that, man. YouTuber, you know what I'm saying? It's all that.
Jack of all. Well, let's do music first.
Okay, so on the music,
I definitely want to cover the barber. When we go,
well, on the music scene, so I went off to college and I started making beats, and I came back, graduated in 2001 from Link University with a communications broadcasting degree. And came back to St. Louis, and I wanted to get my feet wet in the city just to be like, what's going on. And so I made different connections. In 2006, it was a song I did with Chocolate Thai that I met her because she was working at Street Side Records down at the Loop.
Shout out to Chocolate Thai.
I had some beats on me, and we went into the parking lot. I played the beats in the car. And I was just one of those guys, those producers, where I have the image in my head, the vibe of what I want the artist to sound like on the records. So I was doing that for her, and she was like, "Oh, so you a producer? You're not just like giving me beats." I was like, "Yeah." So anyway, we linked up and did a record. Well, that record ended up, they started playing that on the radio and playing it in the club, and so I was like, "Whoa!" And then I linked up with the artist named Coco, who has the song the song My About.
Yep.
And me and Neck Jerker, rest in peace, Neck Jerker. Me and him linked up, and I had this beat that I did, and I had it for Coco. And when I went into the studio, I wanted a tag. This was when Nitty had it. It's a Nitty beat.
Yeah.
So there weren't really too many producers with their tags, at that time. And so I went into the booth, and I told Neck Jerk, I said, record me. And I said, he said, all right, go ahead. And I was like, Mr. Skipper beat, because the skip was like, I like it skip.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, now screw that down 2 notches. And so then he
screwed it down, octave change.
That's where my tag became the Mr. Skipper beat. So that particular beat, which was the one for Coco, ended up landing with Jenna, who is now Fresco Kane, which is the How You Want It, Show Me My Opponent track called Where They At. And so that's where the whole Mr. Skipper beat thing, it wasn't really my intention of being like, I'm Mr. Skipper beat, but the tag is what became the first thing people would hear, and that's what they associated me with. So that's what it kind of be. So St. Louis started naming me Mr. Skipper beat.
Yeah, shout out to Fresco Kane, real quick. I had that track before you had it. I just wanted to know that. Go ahead.
So yeah, but that was on just the radio commercial side of things. I was doing, me and my homeboy Tron, we were doing underground boom bap records under our own production group called Narrow Path. We were down on Washington at the Loop selling CDs. So I mean, that's why they call me Skip, because I kind of can skip around doing all different kinds of things,
Now, you've already touched on a couple of things that I was going to touch on anyway. Just the fact that you mentioned both the club side and the underground hip hop. I already had it in my head that I was going to come on and say you are definitely one of the more versatile producers. When we met, I guess because of how we met and who I was dealing with at the time, he gave me what people call underground hip hop. Like I still got a plethora of work that nobody ever heard. And let me say this, I want to divvy off real quick because sometimes, more often than not, we get associated with the sound that people know. Right. So it's a whole lot of people who don't know that you have that versatility, even though you were out slanging work or whatever.
Right.
So real quick, in 2026, to the artists who still do that sound, to the people who mess with Trifecta and DJ Crucial and Canadas and so forth. For some of you who think Skip was only defined by that radio and club sound, I'm letting y'all know He got that sound for y'all too.
Yeah.
So get at him. I'm telling y'all this because he always had it. That was the sound that I knew him for. And then the radio sound was secondary for me. So.
Well, the thing about that is I wanted something that because I would go to the clubs and study.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when I made the Where They At beat, I went to the strip club that night.
Yeah.
But I went to the strip club to really study how the chicks are moving, what the vibe is. So if I'm seeing what the vibe is and then I go home, I can encapsulate that vibe and then make the beat according to what I remember seeing. And so as long as I touch on that from my perspective, not trying to make it sound like somebody else's, but more of what I'm wanting to sound like. As far as if I can do what my job, then it's up to the artist to do theirs to take it there.
Well, you created a sound that I personally think should have been the sound of St. Louis for a window. Yeah. Cause shit, I found myself mixing that and you did a joint with Ruck. I think he was
the star.
Yeah, I'm a star. And then you did the Money with Waisha.
Yeah, the same.
So yeah, like,
I was on a run with that same.
To the point where a couple of people copied your sound.
Yeah.
Like I mixed all that shit together, and I just happened to notice. I'm like, wait a minute, these tracks don't have the Mr. Skipper beats. He didn't do these.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, they copying dude's sound or whatever.
Yeah.
So it definitely,
a lot of that deals with also like on the production side, not really quantizing.
Yeah.
So it's really coming from what my actual spirit is feeling when I'm hitting the pads. It's not coming from a 116 or a 132.
So all of those tracks had a purpose then, meaning I know sometimes, so first off, I've done some production myself, but also just knowing producers, a lot of them will create tracks with an artist in mind. Yours weren't done with an artist in mind. It was just
they was just at the house, at the apartment, just making beats.
Okay. And my other thought,
because remember when I would come to Odie and I would give him a beat CD.
Yeah.
And I remember the beats would be like, it'd be like, because back then on the CD you can put like 70 minutes. So I had like a minute beats.
Yep.
And I had 70 on there. I remember Odie was like, damn, man, how many beats you got?
Yep.
And it would be like 1 minute beats on the CD, and I would give them to him.
I would loop and cut the hell out of some stuff. We gonna have a song for this.
And me doing what it is I'm doing at that, I'll never forget at that time, I was, this was in 2005. I was selling Dish Network. I was selling cell phones. I was working. I was interning with Shrewd Marketing.
Yeah.
I was delivering pizzas for emos, and I was making beats. And I remember, man, you was like, man, you like a Jamaican, man. You like you know.
Yep,
I had like 5 different things going.
Yep.
But that's because, you know, when you're chasing your passion, you have to have something to sustain your passion.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just thrive. You can't just live off of your passion if you have nothing to sustain it.
So to all of my aspiring entrepreneurs, and did y'all hear that? When you're chasing your passion, you got to have something to sustain it. There's going to be peaks and valleys.
Mm-hmm.
You got to have something to keep it going.
Like I always tell everybody, I was like, it's okay to want to jump out the airplane, but you got to have a plan. You want to make sure you have a parachute.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just jump out there and think a parachute is going to appear on your back.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're going to hit the ground real hard.
Well, you got to have a plan B, C, D.
Yes, you do.
I really do.